Looks like got a recording going on here. This out of the way. On the bench tonight, we've got an A1502 MacBook Pro Retina 13-inch. I think this is 2015 model. Yes. The current issue from the customer is that it doesn't power on, doesn't turn on, charge the battery, doesn't do anything, no MagSafe light on the charger. And if I put, and I'm not going to plug it in because I've already looked at the bottom, or I've already taken the bottom cover off this and I noticed something that's potentially dangerous. So I decided not to power it on. I'm going to go ahead and take the bottom cover off because there's no screws that came with, no bottom cover screws that came with this computer. So we'll just go ahead and pop the bottom off and see, as you'll clearly see, someone has ripped the DC inboard connector off the logic board. The DC in connector used to be right in this area where these 5 pins are. Come on, focus. Anyway, yeah, there's 5 pins here. Oh, there we go. Cable's in the way so you can't see them, but there's 5 pins there. That's where the DC in connector used to be, is right in this area. But it's been ripped off. And then on top of that, the plug that goes at the end of the DC in board has been ripped off as well. I don't know how well you can see that. Maybe you can see it against this shield. But yeah, you can see the connector's gone. It should look something closer to this. So obviously we're going to have to replace the DC in board because that's not going to work. And we're going to have to replace that connector. Before we can even troubleshoot this board, this computer has been liquid damaged, which was what was reported to me, and we have some evidence of liquid damage. I mean, we've got a red indicator over here by the LCD connector. So we're not even going to bother to obviously power this board on at all until we fix that the DC inboard connector issue. We're going to have to address that first before we can even attempt to power the board on. I mean, I could get another battery. This battery is dead too. I don't even know if this battery is any good or not. Yeah, it's a 2015 because you can see the trackpad cable here goes over the battery. That's a clear indicator of this being a 2015 board. That's a 2.7 gigahertz Core. Is it a Core i7? I don't know if it's Core i7 or Core i5. I don't remember. Oh, I forgot my mouse is not hooked up due to me not having enough USB ports. Let's look at our tickets. Tickets, please. Yeah, this is a 2015 13-inch MacBook Pro Retina. Alright, so we're just going to skip to the formalities here and take the board out because we're going to need to fix. The customer's already authorized this repair, so we're just going to go ahead and dive in and take everything out. Got a 128 gig SSD. Yeah, this board has definitely seen some liquid spill. Go grab our organizer box here. Grab our organizer box. Put our screws in. Go ahead and probably won't well, I don't know if I'll throw this DCN board away. I'm definitely going to put it to the side because this is no longer any good. Yeah, they didn't leave the connectors or anything. It's just bare wire. So really, other than this giant inductor, I think we can rip that inductor off and use it on another one. There's really no point in putting a connector on that thing. It's pretty toasty. We're gonna leave that. We'll leave it with the computer. And somebody who clearly really doesn't. I just noticed something else. Oh my goodness. What is going on here? Huh. There's a piece of solder. Is that solder? That's solder. I found a piece of solder in the computer. Somebody's clearly worked on this board. There was a piece of solder hanging out. And they soldered. Oh my gosh. What is going on here? They put the bracket on backwards. This bracket should be flipped 180 degrees, so it should be covering these two connectors. Then somebody tried to solder one of the Wi-Fi cables. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a big blob of solder. There's a giant blob of solder on this cable connector right here. That's very creative, but not really the way we fix things. I mean, they have 3 antennas, so they'll still get Wi-Fi reception, but that's a little strange. Not quite sure what the thinking was behind that choice was, but to each their own, I guess. And they had some tape on top of the keyboard flex, which is fine. If it's just Scotch tape, I use Kapton tape, but you know, I'm not gonna give them grief over using Scotch tape for that. Oh, okay. Yeah, this board has definitely been liquid damaged. Certain areas we're gonna have to thoroughly inspect this board and see if we can't get it running. I mean, I could plug in another A1502 battery just to see, but kind of pointless. Another thing I noticed, they put the screw in for the fan underneath the fan. Oh no. Oh, and they long screwed the fan grommet on this side, so now that's ruined. Oh boy, this is not good. This screw right here, which was in this hole, should go over here in the short. This is a short screw, should go in this spot. Or I'm sorry, this short screw here should go in this spot, and then this screw should be here. They got their screws mixed up, so now we're gonna go. Oh, and they broke the fan connector too. Is this a joke? Am I being punked? I think I'm being punked. I said, haha, we're going to give this board to Tim and see what he can do with it. Wow, that is weird. I do not understand what is going on with this computer. Whoa. Yeah, there is some strange things going on here. The fan connector is broken. The tab is broken off. I mean, it'll still... The side tab, the locking bar is still on there. Oh, and they had the... and they had the power for the right side I/O board tucked underneath the logic board. I think this thing was like half-heartedly put back together. I'm not understanding what is going on here. Jeez. What a mess. This may be a beyond economical repair. I mean, we'll go ahead and look at the logic board. I'm kind of scared of what I'm going to find on the bottom. Are we unhooked? Oh, nope. We got one more screw here. Alright, that's all of our screws and stuff. Very interesting fan situation here. Yeah, they clearly long screwed this. But guess what? I can probably resolder this fan grommet back onto the board since they didn't rip the actual fiberglass. So yeah, they have the long screw that goes on this side. They had it over here in the short screw hole. So I guess, you know, if the owner of the computer was trying to fix it, then I guess I can't fault him too bad. But if that was another repair technician, you should be ashamed of yourself for even attempting to work on this thing, because that was a very bad job. Very, very bad job. So there's another fan screw. So that short fan screw should go over here. Oh, wow. Oh, that's special. I think, this must be a joke. I think this is a joke. They ripped the fan connectors ripped off the end of the fan. There's the end of the fan. The fan connector's not even connected to the fan anymore. They ripped it off. There's the end of the flex cable for the fan. Ripped off. So that fan's no good. I mean, maybe able to open it up and resolder that. That's toast. I think this is a joke. I think someone's playing a prank on me. It's gotta be some kind of Halloween prank. Oh my god. What is going on here? Whoa. Oh. Dude. Okay. That looks horrible. This might even need a new keyboard. Like, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, this, like, the top of the keyboard feels okay, I guess. But then you look at this, and that's disgusting. I think I'm gonna have to glove up here. You poor MacBook, you. What happened? And of course, my face starts itching, so. The irony of it all. Alright. Get some alcohol and wipe this off real quick and see if that, whatever that is, comes off. I'm going to tend to the logic board and see if what we can make of this mess. I'm going to have to take a peek under the microscope and see what is going on here. I mean, this is disgusting. What has happened to this computer? This is sad. This is easily like a $700 laptop, probably, if it was working condition. This thing has just been abused. Oof. Alright, let's put that to the side. I already alcohol wiped it. I always alcohol wipe them when I check them in. Alright, we're going to set you on top of the garbage can because you may accidentally fall in there and stay. Okay. Now the real fun begins. That fan is no good anymore. I may have to text my customer and ask him if this was some kind of joke or some kind of Halloween prank or something. I'm like, oh, let's give this to him and see if he can fix it. This is a mess. It's an absolute mess. Alright. Okay. Well, we got some liquid something or other on our mic connector, but the mic connector's still intact, which is good. Speaker still, connector still intact. So far we got dirt, like dirtiness, but no corrosion. This might even be a working board for all we know. Of course, how are we gonna know? Our JTAG looks okay. There's a kind of a corroded cap there. Oh, damage everywhere. Some stuff close to the CPU, but not under it. Thank God, so we might actually have a shot here. But now, the moment of truth, we'll flip it over. Our PP3V42 area looks okay. Our U7090, I think, is still called on this board. Oh yeah, this logic board is a 8204924. 08? That's new. Never seen that before. Oh, our SMC area looks pretty clean. Well, that's good. So the repairability just went up about 10%. Like the last thing I want to see is somebody attempting to do solder on this board. Because then I can pretty much guarantee this thing is not repairable. But so far the stuff that's happened has been on every part of the computer except for the logic board. So if we can manage to... Oh, there's a cap that's being knocked off. What does that cap go to? So I found a capacitor that's barely hanging on for dear life, so we'll fix that. Let's get my board view and schematic up here. And of course, it goes on the same screen as my OBS. I'm not going to maximize OBS back until I get my 4924 board view and schematic up here, because it always puts my PDF on the wrong screen. Alright. Where did my mouse cursor go? Screen view. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. You are over here by my screw hole. See? Huh? That's not correct. It says unconnected. There is an actual capacitor there. Unconnected my butt. I think I'm having problems with board view or flex board view. Yeah, so it's there. It says no connection, but there's a capacitor there. What? That's interesting. This is an '08, so yeah, we'll go ahead and fix it anyway. We're gonna fix that, and we're gonna fix the DC inboard connector because I want to at least power up the board and see. Fire up our soldering tools, and I apologize. I'm gonna put the hot air station hose and everything right in the way of the camera that's pointed at my face. I wonder if I use hot air to fix this. I'll try to use my soldering iron first. Oh yeah, this thing's like about to fall right off. Come on. Stay. Alright, we're gonna put a little pillow there. Oh, and we are not going to replace that capacitor because the end caps are gone. So we'll grab a donor board. See if that cap's on there. Which it is. We'll just hot air it in place and call it good. Call it a day. So I kind of want to get this repair rolling. I'm very curious. My curiosity has been piqued. I'm curious to know if this board actually works. If it's worth it. Because if the screen is broken and the logic board's broken, chances are customer may not opt to get it repaired. So again, go ahead and apply a little heat. Oh man, look at those lights flash. Isn't that great? Alright. This has got a DC inboard connector. Oh, that doesn't have an inboard DC in connector on it either. You're no good. Ow, hot. Cooperate, little capacitor. Soldering iron cables all twisted. Got a nice brand new microscope camera that I can't use right now because I'm using a MacBook Pro Retina as my streaming computer or my recording computer, and it only has 2 USB ports on it, which is absolutely worthless. Alright. So that cap's on. Now we'll tack that DC inboard connector. And then we'll test some power rails to see if this thing works or not. We'll have to get a test fan. Since obviously our other fan is no good anymore because the cable's ripped. It's like every cable in this computer's been ripped. Not exactly sure why. And I've got a nice new perfectly soldered capacitor here, which says it's not connected, which is weird. Not sure why. Says that it's not connected, but it is. Got trails of liquid. Okay, now back to our inspection. Something weird there. Oh! Okay, got a burnt up capacitor here. What is that for? What are you for? That's no good. I'm not sure if that burnt up or I think somebody tried to burn that with a soldering iron. What are you for now? Let's switch cameras to the screen now. Screen capture. Woo, woo, woo. Not using a mouse, so this is hard to do. Right here. Oh, lovely. It's a PP Bus G3 hot cap. So we're going to have to fix that. Oh yeah, it's melted. Do we have a short to ground on PP Bus? Oof. Gosh. Yeah, that capacitor. I think this is a troll machine. I think they just threw this together. Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on this board that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We got a burnt PP Bus G3 hot capacitor that I've never seen burn before. I mean, we could check the resistance of the CPU V-core rails to the ground and see if this is even a waste of time. I'm starting to think this is a waste of time. Yeah. I think we got a short on PP Bus G3 hot, which is not good. We're going to pull this cap off real quick because it's burnt. Try not to melt that CPU fan fan screw thingy. We're going to desolder this burnt cap off here real quick off PP Bus. Yeah, that's app capacitor is done for. Clean up our solder pads here. Yep, I'm starting to believe this is some kind of joke. Like you got random damage. There's random damage here. Uh-oh. Is that is that solder pad any good? What is that? Fiberglass. Oh, that's probably the bottom of the capacitor is stuck to the pad. Come on off there. Come on. Did I get it? I think I got it. No. Still feels a little crusty and crunchy. I am not sure what's going on with this board. I mean, my curiosity is definitely still piqued. I really want to know if this thing is fixable or broken. I would like to get a little more backstory, if I could. I'm going to have to zoom way in because I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on this side. I see like tan, which is weird because tan is what the capacitor is. Let's clean that off and look real quick. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at here. If that's actual pad or what is that? Because the left side, pin 2 of this capacitor is on ground. And pin 1 is PP bus G3 hot, which goes to Q7979 and some other stuff right around here. Zoom way in. Weird, I have no idea what I'm looking at. It looks like copper. It looks like copper. Looks like copper, but my solder is not sticking to it. And it's clean, like clean, clear looking copper, like a shiny penny. But it's not taking solder at all. It's raised. Just keep kind of gently scraping at it. I want to say it's like a piece of a capacitor. It's like melted onto the pad, but I don't know. I may have to just give up on figuring out what it is. Oh, there we go. That looks better. Ooh, don't touch the soldering iron. Alright, that looks better. Alright, that looks better. We'll take that. It's now cleaned up pretty good. I mean, there's no What's going on? Okay. What is that all about? What are you freaking out about here? What did I... SE? What are you doing? Okay. My soldering station just decided to freak out on me. Not exactly sure why it's doing that. FX. S. Oh, got an SE error. It's usually caused by a tip that's incorrectly inserted into the handle. Huh? Interesting. Try that again. Okay. Try another tip, maybe? Maybe that tip broke? I apologize for the beeping. Oh. Yeah, my tip must have broke. Well, that's no good. How am I supposed to solder with a broken tip? Hmm. So I'm wondering if it overheated and cracked or something. Not quite sure. Not quite sure what to do here. I may have to replace it, which I don't want to do right now. Yeah, I think I think that tip is toast. Seems to be responding, or I'm just gonna have to use a different tip. It seems to be responding well to those. Yeah. Did this tip just break, I wonder? It did. Oh, yep. The heating element cracked. If you listen to this, I shake this next to the microphone. You can't hear anything. You shake this one. You can hear something. Yep. Well, there's $20 down the drain. Dang. Okay. That's toast. I mean, I've been using that tip forever, so. Alright, I have more. I don't really want to spend time right in the middle of a repair opening up another solder tip. Sorry, let's get back to business here. That's interesting. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. Once again, if this goes up on YouTube, I apologize for the beeping. Had no idea my soldering tip was going to decide to solder its last joint right in the middle of a video. So clean these pads. So burnt capacitor's gone. I'm going to test that real quick before we move on to the rest of the board and see what else we've got as far as broken components. Alright, let's do a resistance measurement to ground here. Alright. Since we know pin 2's ground, we'll just probe it right here. $715 kilo ohms and going down, so we do not have a short on PP bus. We actually did with that capacitor. So that definitely could have been a culprit too. We don't know, because the only story we got from the customer was that this thing was liquid damaged. I mean, there could be any number of things wrong. I don't think that was soldered by somebody. I think it actually melted. We've got a cap with a gray end over here next to we'll see, what is that chip next to our U7501? That is U7400. Which is our 1.2 volt regulator, so we'll definitely address that later. Yeah. BIOS chip looks okay. U75-1 looks okay. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . So far what I'm seeing is just what I've explained already. Was that capacitor that was falling off the board? Fix that, and then that PP bus G3 hot cap was blown, like melted. Yeah, our pins are still attached to our DC, where our DC inboard connector goes. So we're gonna have to address that and see. So somebody was in here having a go at this logic board, which is sad because I think this is a 2.7 gig Core. I don't know if it's Core i7 or not, but definitely some liquid going on, but nothing so bad that would make me believe that this logic board is not repairable. So I think we are going to proceed with trying to oh my goodness. Oh, that poor fan connector. We're probably going to have to replace that too, because that looks bad. There's a couple of the pins that are bent sideways and just, oh, that looks bad. Yeah, we're going to have to probably fix that too. But we're going to work on the DC in connector here. Which way should I face? Is there any plastic around here? I could probably just use hot air. Probably just going to use hot air and remove all this junk that's there, and we'll solder a nice new happy DC in connector there, and then we'll do some testing and see if this board actually works. This is the plan. Let's face. Which way do we want to face? Let's face out this way. So we don't want to melt any plastic connectors or anything. We just have an inductor over here and stuff. These pins should come off pretty quickly. This is 1 of 6. There's another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. And the last one. And we didn't melt anything. So now we're starting from 0 here. Put some flux on this. Clean this area up. I want to say this is the same DC in connector as MacBook Air. I don't know for sure. I have extra MacBook Air DC in connectors, but I do not have MacBook Pro Retina ones. Oh, this tip works great for wicking. Alright. Well, that was easy. And like I said in my other videos that I do use a fume extractor. I've got one over here. I just don't turn it on because I'm worried about it drowning out the sound of the video. Normally during the day or night when I'm doing repairs, I do have a fume extractor right here turned on because I don't particularly love inhaling this stuff. I just am happening to do it when I do a video every once in a great while. Get rid of all these pins. You know what we can do too? Let's see if we can't resolder that fan connector. I mean, not fan connector. The shroud for the grommet for the screw grommet for our fan connector. Or I mean our fan. Just fixing all the atrocities here. Oof. A lot of smoke. Jeez. Just focus here. Yeah, not sure who's working on this board, but if you're a technician or a repair person, rather, you know, it just takes a little planning to repair a logic board. A little planning, a little thinking. Looks to me like somebody just went around and was ripping things off this board and like doing things they shouldn't have been doing and not caring. I mean, this probably, for all I know, could have been a easily fixable logic board, and now it may not be fixable. Throw some solder on here, and then I'll hit it with a pinpoint blast of hot air, and we'll solder that screw grommet back. I'm just happy they didn't rip the fiberglass or anything underneath of it. That's what I'm happy about. I'm gonna clean that flux off and put a new dab of flux on there. I want some nice flux. So I want this to flow quickly. I don't want to put because we're right next to the CPU, and I don't want to put a lot of heat in this area if I don't have to. I'm gonna put high heat for a very short amount of time, but I'm gonna face it away from the. Luckily, this screw grommet is on the edge of the board, so I'm going to take my hot air and point it. See this screw grommet? Let's see if I can show you. Right here is where the screw grommet goes. It's right here. I'm going to point the heat away from the board, kind of diagonally, kind of where my tweezers are, quickly, and I'll solder this screw grommet back on. So we're going to point it away from the CPU and everything, away from the heat pipe. We'll quickly do this. So we count to 10. Whoops. As we blow the grommet off the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. That's it. Back on. We'll cool it off. That's done ski. So there's that mistake fixed. Throw some alcohol in here and cool it off a little bit. Boy, if this board works, it's definitely going to get a bath. Oh, man. That sucks. There's a scratch mark that goes right across some traces, too. I'm wondering if that's broken or... What does that go to? There's these vias that go over here. That goes down, around, and then, oh, to the other side of the board. So, yikes. There's a deep scratch there, like... Oh, yeah, those traces are probably broken for sure. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to say goodbye to that fan connector too. Well, we'll worry about that later. Let's fix the DC in connector first and see if this thing even works or if it's a waste. It's a waste of time. Let's just fix what's essential right now. I don't even know why I fixed that screw grommet. Fan screw grommet, to be honest. I mean, if this board's dead, it's kind of pointless, but that's okay. Just kind of addressing things as we go along here. Alright. Those pads clean enough for me. Yep. Let's see if I can find another DC in connector. And I did. And let's grab a MacBook Air DC in board and see if this is the same connector. Oh, it is. Yep, that's the same connector. That's good. I think I may have one already pulled off of a board. Let's see. I've already got one pulled off here. We do. Look at that. How about that? Ha. Got a DC in. A DC in connector already right here. How about that? Special for this board. So we'll just have to desolder it off of our donor board to replace. Alright, we'll clean up the pads on this guy first. We'll get him on our board and see what we get for power. I'll probably just fire it up quickly. Fire the board up quickly and see what kind of current it's drawing, and then if it's getting CPU V-core and whatnot, we'll address the issue of the fan connector. Alright, let's get our new DC in connector soldered on here. I'll show you the pads now. I cleaned them all up because they had remnants of the bottom of the connector. Those are easy to break if the battery falls out of the computer. Right here, nice shiny, pretty solder joints or solder pads. Come closer if it'll focus. There we go. Yeah, right there. Our solder pads. Nice and neat. We'll get our DCN connector soldered on there. I'm anxious. I want to fire this board up and see if it works. And knowing me, if it doesn't, I'm probably going to try and fix it. Which might be a lost cause, but we'll see. Alright, so okay. Just trying to get the position of this. Connector. Spread my tweezers out a little bit here so I can grab this thing. All right. Some solder here. This tip is made for drag soldering. It's got a little reservoir in the end of it where you can put solder. So, all right. Trying to get a couple of pads here soldered. Got one. Let's put some more flux over here. I want to make sure you take your time with this. Sorry, I'm not talking a whole lot. I'm just trying to concentrate here. All right. Let's clean that off and see what we got here. Let's see, we got a pretty solid connection here, solder job. Get all this flux out of here. Oh yeah, that's a nice job. That's pretty good. I like it. Not to toot my own horn, but it's pretty clean looking. I want to see if the solder flowed underneath. It should have, because I put quite a bit of flux. But I want to make sure that this is stable, because this thing gets plugged and unplugged a lot. I mean, it shouldn't. Once it's fixed, it shouldn't be unplugging this thing at all, but... Alright, we're gonna... Oops. Go ahead and... We're gonna go ahead and brush this area. Some alcohol and a Kim wipe and make sure it's good and clean. I mean, this board's going to get, for sure, if this thing works, it deserves every second of an ultrasonic bath, and it will get one in a brand new tub of cleaner and distilled water. Like, it will get spoiled. Treat this board as if it was mine. Yeah, it looks like crap right now, but once I run it through the ultrasonic, it's gonna look like factory. $1,000,000. Hey, we got a DCN connector, so now we can actually troubleshoot and see if this thing actually works and turns on. I know it's kind of fruitless, but I think I'm going to get a fan, an actual fan or working fan, because I want to see that lovely fan spin when this thing we power it on for the first time. And we get all of our power rails and it works. So we addressed all the issues, from looks, like as far as things coming off the board or whatever. Well, that's not true. We got to fix that. We got to put a new fan connector on there too, but we'll worry about that after the board fires up. Got a nice, pretty new DCN connector. Oh yeah, those are nice shiny solder joints. I'm happy. I'm happy with those. Yep, those will work. I'm happy with those. Very nice. It's probably one of my best DCN / battery connector jobs I've soldered. Let's hope I don't waste it on a dead board. All right. Enough of this. Let's get a fan. I don't even know if the fan will spin because the connector's damaged. Gonna have to replace that too, but okay, let's get a fan for A1502 2015. Do we have a fan? We do. Ha! We have a test fan. All right. curiosity is driving me nuts. We've got a nice grommet we can screw our fan to. Have no idea if this connector is going to work. Come on. Okay. Oh yeah, this, oh jeez. This fan's missing all the case screws. That's right, it's a test fan anyway. Doesn't matter. Alright, where's our DC and our replacement DC inboard here? Boom, plugs right in. Moment of truth. Whew, I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. Let's put that. I don't even know if this fan's gonna work or not. Alright, 16.5 volts. Please. Punch in 16.5 volts here. What? What are you talking about? 6.5. I know you go up to 30 volts. Moment of truth. Oh boy. Let's see. If it works, we'll put a new fan connector on, and we'll ultrasonic it, and then, well, first we'll plug in the screen and see if the screen works. Then we'll ultrasonic it. And if not, we'll just keep troubleshooting. So, alright, here goes the power on self-test here. Let's get the board centrally located here. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Green light. 600 milliamps. Green light, 500 milliamps. Is our CPU getting warm? This fan might be broken. Let's try it again. Oh, that's strange. What? Why would I have this busted up fan in a good ProTech bag? Well, we didn't get fan spin, but we definitely got activity here. Our CPU's not warm. Trouble could be on the horizon. I mean, look at the state of that fan connector. I probably shouldn't be surprised that the fan is not going to spin. I mean, half of the pins on that are bent over, and that poor thing has been traumatized. Some sick and twisted individual decided that it'd be a fun Saturday night if they ripped the CPU fan connector off. Oh, here, I got a whole box of fans. We'll see if it's our fan or if it's the connector. My guess is the connector's messed up. But just in case that fan's broken, we'll try another one. Could measure CPU V-core and or 5 volts, because if we get 5 volts, we're in pretty good shape on the fan connector. Could test PB bus too, or our power wheels. Yeah, I don't even know if this connector works or not. Alright, let's power it on again. Oh, you know what? This is a 2015. That's right. They changed the 2015s to where the fan doesn't start spinning until the board reaches like 180 degrees or something ridiculous, like super super hot. So of course it's not gonna spin. Oh, our CPU's getting warm. Hey, we fixed it. Look at that. Got an orange light on our charger. We're drawing 600 milliamps. Got a happy little board here, maybe. Let's test our CPU V-core. See what we got here. Our DCN is 16.4. Oh yeah, CPU is nice and toasty. Oh, it's happy. 16. 1257 on PP bus. We got our PP bus. Is G3 hot here? .86 volts of V-core. I do believe we have a working logic board. Yep. This definitely makes me want to put it on a screen now and see if it actually boots and works. Then all we have to do is replace this janky... Oh! Fan spin! I just touched that connector's messed up. But look at that. Got a spinning fan. Haha. Ouch. CPU hot. Ow. Yes, we got a working logic board. Very cool. So all we had to do is solder a new DCN connector. We had to put this fan grommet back on so we can screw our fan down to the board nice and neat. We're going to have to put a new fan connector on there. Not a big deal because I think I have a pile of those sitting around. Somebody stole it off my donor board. They always steal the connectors off the donor boards because then they know they can sell them. Mm-hmm. There's a fan. Oh, that's busted. That fan connector's busted. That's in rough shape. I need to get some more 8204924 donors. Only have 3. Oh yeah, and all the fan connectors are toast. Oh well. Luckily I have tons of fan connectors. Look at that, drawing 770 milliamps. We got a spinning fan, a happy little CPU, V-core. Alright, let's turn it off. What do you say? Let's turn it off and we're gonna slap it back in the chassis in the case real quick and see if we can't get a Apple logo. Where is... Oh. So I'll probably just give them this other fan and just take the screws out of this one. Oh no, this is a working fan. Never mind. Yeah, we'll have to charge them for a fan. There's no soldering that back on. Sorry, that's snapped. So, look at that. How about that? That is something. We love it. We're happy. Even though our soldering iron tip burnt up. Alright. For all you would-be technicians out there, please use the short screw. So you don't long screw the grommet that goes onto the board. See that? Short screw, short screw. Not the long screw. Don't want to long screw the logic board. That's bad. Long screwing logic board's bad. Doesn't like it. The MacBook doesn't like that. It also doesn't like when you throw your trash on top of the customer's computer. I got a rolling cart that I'm using now. but it's full of repairs. It's literally got like 8 computers sitting on it, so it's kind of not really usable. Now, before we blow their screen and or any other components, let's check check inside the LCD connector. The cable looks fine. Let's look inside the connector and make sure it's fine, because there is a liquid damage indicator right next to the LCD connector that is red, as you can see there, which is a little bit concerning. So there's liquid there, so we just want to make sure that our LCD connector is looking okay. And I don't see any burnt pins or anything. I mean, there's crud in here a little bit, but for our purposes, we're just going to plug it in really fast, turn it on, see if we get a glorious Apple logo or a flashing question mark folder, something. And then we'll address the rest of the issues, such as replacing the fan connector and ultrasonicing the board. And this little MacBook will be a happy little computer again. Once again, it's gonna go from a sad broken little MacBook to working again. If I can get you to go into the chassis, come on. You can go back, it's alright. I'm not gonna hurt you. Why are you resisting? Do you not want to go back in this chassis? You want to stay with me? Is that what it is? Stay with the guy who fixed you? Not to with the person that attempted to rip you into shreds? Okay, what is going on here? What is going on here? Yeah, come on. Come on, little logic board. I usually don't have this much trouble getting the logic board back in. I think it's trying to tell me something. I think it's trying to say, hey, I don't want to go back. Please don't put me back. They're mean to me. They torture me. They spill stuff on me. They laugh at me and they break me. Won't you please keep me? Alas, but I cannot, little MacBook. What is going on here? Am I missing something? I know it's been a little bit since I worked on a Retina, but I don't recall ever having this much problem getting the logic board back in. Get our camera cable out of the way. Alright, there we go. You're back where you belong. There we go. Alright. Let's not fuss over perfection here. We're just simply going to put you back together for a second for a quick turn on. Maybe a quick flash of the owner's personal information. Haha, just kidding. Try to avoid that if we can. Come on, little keyboard connector, or keyboard cable. Why don't you want to go in? You sad. Plug our T-pad in. We're going to plug everything in. Oh, wait. Speaker. 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 Hey, speaker. Speaker, why are you hiding? Shouldn't be hiding. Come on. Come on out. Come on, guy. There you go. Don't be shy. Back into your flex connection. That didn't have the nice normal usual snap sound. Well, when I unsnapped it, it did. Alright. So, we know we got the board is able to fan spin and turn on. We want to see if it posts and or has an image. Because this thing was a mess. Does that actually plug in? Does that actually still work? It does. Alright, well, okay. Fine. I don't know if I should go too nuts with plugging things in. I might leave the battery unplugged. Alright. Maybe we won't put the SSD in just yet. Maybe we'll just power it on like this. The board hanging out. You know what? And for effect, we're going to apply a screen wipe. Clean the screen so we can see that beautiful Apple logo pop up. Or not Apple logo, the flashing question mark. This is a nice screen. I hope the screen's okay. Looks like it's fine. No real stain gate. Got a couple little scratches. Overall, this computer's in great shape. You know, minus the liquid damage and the brutal attempts at ripping things off the logic board that I had to fix. I should be wearing gloves, but at this point, I've had this thing for a couple days. I don't pick my nose or stick my hands in my mouth or anything, so. Get that screen nice and clean. Look at that. Beautiful. I mean, if this screen works, that's some good money right there. Alright, enough of that. Now we don't have the SSD plugged in, so I'm not too worried about deploying our security protection device. Alright, powering back on. See if we get a flashing question mark folder off you. Hey! Did you hear that? That was a chime. Oh, we're posting. Do we get an image now? I guess I could pick it up. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to cheat. I guess I could pick it up and look at the back of the screen on the Apple logo and see if we have backlight. That's no fun. Let's sit and wait. We've came this far. Show me that beautiful flashing question mark folder. Come on. You can do it. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. We've got backlight, and look at that. Easy. Easy. That, my friends, is a fixed MacBook. We got a flashing question mark folder. So this would-be disaster that was placed on my bench, we have resurrected this computer. Look at that. And let's see if we can get an Apple logo. What I'll do is I'll power it on, and then as soon as we see the Apple logo, I'll shut her off because I don't want to show the customer's information. I don't want to share that with everybody. This SSD doesn't, it looks okay, I guess. All right, one more time, just to show off. We're going to power it on, see if we can get an Apple logo, and then I'll quickly power it off so the customer's info doesn't pop up on the screen. We just want to see an Apple logo. Because if we see a flashing question mark folder, we have other problems we got to solve. But if we do see an Apple logo, the only thing we got to do is replace the fan connector. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Get my face down here so you can hear the chime. Drawing 800 milliamps, 900. There's our chime. Apple logo. Apple logo. See the Apple logo? Look at that. Apple logo and progress bar. Haha. I'll quickly put my fingers over this so we don't see people's names. Login screen. Look at that. Beauty. What a beauty. The screen's not very bright. But that, my friends, is a fixed MacBook. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right. So, that concludes that mess. So, what had happened? What had happened? What happened was liquid damage, obviously, or something happened. But we know that the fan grommet was ripped off the board and stuck to the screw because somebody long screwed. They put the long screw in the short hole and long screwed this. And luckily they didn't rip the fiberglass underneath the copper. It just broke the solder joint, which is fine because I'm able to solder that back on, so it's fine. But they did have the long fang screw there. It does not go there. It goes over here. So it's just inexperience, which is fine if it's the owner. Whatever. It is what it is. It's fine. You know, they tried. Let's see. Yeah, this long screw goes over here. Like this. I don't know why I'm putting this in here because I got to tear this thing apart again and ultrasonic the board because the board looks like a mess right now. Well, and I have to fix that. I'm not going to leave that fan connector on there. There's no way in its present condition that I'm going to leave that on this board. It's going to get fixed. Going to get replaced. So yeah, this is the correct orientation of our fan screws. Short screw here, other short screw here, long screw, yeah. And then our major problem was somebody ripped the plug off the bottom of the end of the DC in board. So that's going to make it real hard to plug in to the board. Then they ripped the DC in. That reminds me, we got to charge them for a new DC in board and fan. So they ripped the DC in board connector off the board, and I put another one on. I replaced the DC in board connector here with the nice new one. Soldered the joints. You can see those are nice and shiny solder joints. Let's put a nice new DCN connector on, and then when we flipped the board over, there was a capacitor that was ripped off partially off the board, so we went ahead and reattached that. And then next to a chip, next to our, I'm gonna switch screens here. It's a pretty long stream, but hey, I fixed this board, so it is worth it. Okay, I hate not having a mouse. This is a pain. So here's Q7979, which has PP bus G3 hot going to it, and then these two caps here have PP bus G3 hot as well. This cap, this side of the cap was melted to the board, and PP bus is shorted to ground. So that could have been where the problem started, is somehow liquid got on this cap and it shorted PP bus to ground and it melted that. And so that, oh wait a minute, oh, we got to put that cap back on. I never put it back on. These are bypass caps though, so I do need to replace that cap. That's not a big deal. Yeah, see, these are bypass. It's two bypass caps, so C7900 is fine, but I'll put another bypass cap back on. So not a big deal. We'll fix that up too. I got to remember to do that. So yeah, we got to put a new C7901 on there. I got to put that in the notes too, in the repair notes. So we have to replace that capacitor because that was burnt. And then after we place that and the DCN board, we obviously, you see we got a fan spin and a working logic board. So we removed all the destroyed components, and now I keep sounding redundant. I gotta get a new soldering iron tip out too. Man, those things are expensive. They're $20. But anyway, I'm gonna take this board back out and I'll fix the next two problems off camera. I think this stream is or this recording has gone on long enough, so I'm gonna end it now, and I will fix that stuff off camera and get to posting this video. So yeah, this is kind of a little bit of a non-traditional repair for me, because normally I like to measure power rails to kind of get an idea of what was wrong. But when you open this up and you see that the DCN connector is ripped off the board, you know where you got to start, because more than likely, if the DCN connector is ripped off the board, the battery is probably going to be dead. So you have no way to power this unless you could, of course, slap another battery onto here and try to test it, but it takes, I already got an okay to fix this board, so I knew I had to fix that connector, so I went ahead and fixed it. So that way we can power it on the board on and see if anything else was wrong. So, like I said, kind of non-traditional. It was kind of this one was kind of monkey see broken stuff, monkey replace it, and it just happened to work. So no real brain power, no real, no puzzle solving involved in this repair. So anyway, if you like this video, please hit thumbs up for me, and like like and subscribe to my channel. Would love to bring you on board and get some ideas from people of repairs they'd like to see. I'm just starting out, so on doing the YouTube thing. So yeah, so if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to drop me a line. And anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good evening.